All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time! The very first chapter of One Piece in the year 2024. Let's go! Now, before we get started, we have to take note of the beautiful art in which all of you are witnessing right now. Thanks to our very own Ravi. Sorry, why did I call you Ravi? I'm sorry. Thanks to our very own Ravi, he created this thumbnail for me. Just a surprise Christmas gift. And I thought there's absolutely no way I'm going to do the newest stream for One Piece, the newest chapter reaction without using this as a thumbnail. And, you know, with his permission, he created it for me, so I guess he could say he gave me permission to use it because he gave it to me. It's for me. So I figured, what better way to start this reaction than to show off the beautiful thumbnail art that he gave to me for me to show to all of you. It's amazing. I never thought I'd get anyone to make something like this for me. I must have been doing something good with this channel for someone to make a thumbnail for me. That's amazing! But let's get started, shall we? And I'm hitting the wrong button. Did I hit the wrong button? Wait, did I hit the right button? I did, but I am bright! I am bright on this screen. We gotta fix that right now before we get started. Very first chapter of One Piece in this year, ladies and gentlemen. Why is this exposure so high? It is 10:31. Ridiculous. But to everybody, yo peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another One Piece chapter reaction and review. We have entered into, well, One Piece in the year 2024, and what I'm seeing right here is that we're apparently going on another break until January 21st. Hold on, how many weeks is that? A 2-week break? A 2-week break. We just came out of a break. We're going on a 2-week break. What does this chapter have that demands it? That demands a 2-week break? Is there going to be a holiday going on in Japan? It's not Golden Week, is it? I don't know. But last we left off, we saw the memories of the greatest character in One Piece, Bartholomew Kuma. His last moments before Vegapunk, basically wiped his memory, and we see Bonnie crying her eyes out after witnessing the entire history of her adoptive father. And we just see her at the end of his flashback, one of the most kind-hearted people in the entirety of One Piece. So now we get to see what happens next. We get a beautiful color cover page here with all of the Straw Hats, Momonosuke, and Yamato all in one big massive panel. They're eating food, they're drinking good. Yeah, everybody's just eating good and drinking good. Even Nami and Robin have their faces stuffed just a little bit, but Robin is more refined when she's eating. She's like, yum, yum, yum. But let's go. Chapter 1103, I'm Sorry, Daddy. And now, we're still in a flashback, but it's more in the present of what happened after Bonnie saw... Woo! What happened after Bonnie saw the memories of Kuma? And we're here on Egghead. And Vegapunk, after he was trying to chase after her to keep her from going into that door, this is Vegapunk going, Bonnie, did you see everything? And Bonnie's silent. I did. Well, drat, I've broken my promise. To Kuma. And then he hears some footsteps go over to him, and Bonnie turns into a child again. Like, this is the first time Bonnie turns back into her 12-year-old state. Because remember, Bonnie is 12 years old. She turns back into her original 12-year-old state and just hugs Vegapunk. Much to his surprise. Oh? And then she starts crying again, even as a child, going,
I'm sorry, Vegapunk.
and then we cut back to later on, when Bonnie was talking to Vegapunk.
What is it?
This is a present for your 10th birthday. Kuma left it with me.
From Daddy? Yay! What a beautiful sapphire. This necklace is shaped like the sun. I'll treasure it forever.
He said it would be a good luck charm for you, but...
And then I guess time passes, and I guess Bonnie was talking to him with Vegapunk going,
Indeed. 2 years ago, who could have imagined that boy turning into this?
So, Straw Hat is like the son of Daddy's friend?
Yep. I was shocked when I saw the two of you show up together. Fate is such a strange thing sometimes.
Yet another callback to one of the themes of this entire series. Fate. Just fate playing its hand once again.
Fate is such a strange thing sometimes. While you were in this room, a number of dangerous things has happened on Egghead. The Straw Hat crew just saved my life minutes ago, in fact. I'll tell you everything. Let's go and meet up with them when things have calmed down. I'm sorry, Bonnie. In the end, I'm nothing more than a hired scientist.
No, it's not your fault. It's all...
And then that present-day flashback ends as we cut right back to Bonnie in the clutches of Jay Garcia. Oh, here we go. We're back. This is only pages 4 and 5. Oh! We cut back to, it's him, as we see Bonnie still in the clutches of Jay Garcia. Present day, Egghead, New World. And all the vice admirals are taking aim at Bonnie while Jay Garcia holds her up.
Julie Bonnie, the pirate, your father Kuma is dead.
Much to her, she's annoyed by this. And remember, Frankie, Vegapunk, and Sanji are all still being held down by the power of Jay Garcia. We still don't know the name of this devil fruit or all its fullest capabilities, but it's able to keep all three of these individuals down. Specifically Sanji, because he's far stronger than he's ever been, and he's just being held down like he's nothing at all. Dang it! Why can't I move? Bunny! And this is, Sanji, Vegapunk, and Frankie saying this respectively.
Food! Someone give me food! Meat!
And we have Atlas who goes,
I want to, but I can't move.
And she's being held down. Atlas is being held down by Jay Garcia's power as well. And then we have Sentomaru, who's been bound up, while he's also being, heavily guarded by numerous Marines. We've captured Vegapunk's bodyguard, Sentomaru! And Kizaru, still laying on the ground, is just thinking to himself, Sentomaru, Bonnie. Because remember, he was there during Bonnie's childhood when they were chilling at Egghead. So he knows them as well. But he's just a cog in the machine. What's the situation? We don't know. Commodores and below can't go in. And then we have people reading the news in different places. A brand new Emperor of the Sea? Holed up on the island? I suppose it's too much to hope no one dies. They say it's a bigger siege than at O'Hara. Is Dr. Vegapunk gonna be all right? And then we have... we have Dragon! If Kuma's running off of some fragment of his true instincts, where do you think he'll go, Eva? If it were me, I'd charge Marie-Joie without a second thought. But Kuma's different. I think he'll... And then we cut back to the Vice Admirals aiming at Bonnie.
If I'm going to die anyway, I might as well take you down with me. Distorted future! Nika-like!
And she She uses distorted future to enlarge in her body as she prepares.
Nika-like?
And then Jay Garcia is thinking, Nika! And he thinks this with alarm.
Nika-like future!
And then all of a sudden, she punches Jay Garcia in the top of his head, but it doesn't do anything.
Again? I'm getting weaker? Why?
And then Jay Garcia starts to squeeze Bonnie even harder.
Ah!
I see. You're his daughter, eh? And you know that name. But you don't know what it is. She doesn't seem to have made the connection between Nika and Straw Hat's white-colored form.
And this is him, and this is Jay Garcia thinking this.
Such a shame.
And then Jay Garcia looks over and he sees Luffy, who is, incredibly haggard because he's still hasn't got the hang of Gear 5. Incredibly haggard, but he's stuffing his face with meat.
Hey, who gave him food? Put Sea Prism Stone handcuffs on him at once!
Huh? As the Marines are looking at Luffy stuff his face. Seize him now! And then we have Kizaru, who's managed to, prop himself up, but he's still not, standing.
I can't use my age-changing powers on this old guy. How come?
I gave you that power, buddy.
Huh?
It was an experiment to see if an infant incapable of eating solid fruit could be given powers with an extract.
What? What is he saying?
It was successful, but the fruit itself was worthless.
Wait a minute, dial it back. Dial it back! It was an experiment to see if an infant incapable of eating solid fruit could be given powers with an extract. So did she gain devil fruit powers without even actually eating one?
It was successful, but the fruit itself was worthless. Its powers might allow you to transform into any future, but the more you know of reality, the narrower your future possibilities become. You want to believe in Nika, don't you?
And who do we see flying through the air? Who do we see flying through the air as Jay Garcia's going off? It's Kuma's flying through the air while Jay Garcia starts giving his Incredibles villain monologue.
You want to believe in Nika, don't you?
Nika is real. Ever since the day my father became a cyborg that obeys your orders, I've been searching for Nika, hoping that he'll be able to free Daddy.
And your current weakness is evidence that you've begun to think he's not real. Your father believed in the idiotic legend of the Buccaneers as well. He said to me, I want to save people like Nika does. Years later, I performed a chemical experiment on your mother, who was the 8th wife of a fellow in the Holy Land. It was a failure. Those blue blemishes showed up again.
I can't even talk right now because this man just said he gave Ginny the Sapphire Scales disease. You know what popped into my head like that? When Ego said he put the tumor in Quill's mom's head that she later would die from. He is the one who gave Ginny that incurable disease that killed her. He needs to die. He needs to die. He needs to die. He needs to die right now. He needs to die right now. Right now. He needs to die right now. Jay Garcia needs to die right now. He needs to die right now.
Years later, I performed a chemical experiment on your mother, who was the 8th wife of a fellow in the Holy Land. It was a failure. Those blue blemishes showed up again. But although it didn't have the desired result, I found it quite curious that the same effect was passed on to her daughter.
Huh?
And then something crashes into Egghead. Woo! I know who it is! I already, just because of context clues.
Ah! What just crashed onto the land? Onto the island?
You did all of that?
You did that as an experiment, Satan?
And this is Vegapunk.
Those sapphire scales tore Kuma's family apart. He gave up his life to stop them, and you had the gall to offer him a deal as though you were doing him a favor?
I love Vegapunk in this moment because Vegapunk is all of us. The collective of every One Piece fan, this is Vegapunk is voicing all of our thoughts right now.
Put yourself in my shoes. Would you bother yourself with the feelings of insects? It is impossible.
And then imagine all of Bonnie's life has been, or all of the turmoil of Bonnie's life is because Jay Garcia started it. He gave Ginny the disease. He experimented on her. And that got her cast out of Marijois. And then that disease passed on to Bonnie, which led to Kuma trying to find a cure, which led to him going to Vegapunk, and thus this is all Jay Garcia's fault. Everything played. He needs to die. He needs to die.
Would you bother yourself with the feeling of insects? It is impossible.
And Bonnie, understandably, is crying as we see Kuma on Egghead, still smoking, still, covered in battle scars because this Joker's been fighting. He's starting to stand up. He's starting to stand up in front of all of these Marines.
Huh? A pacifista?
No, he's got pads on his hands. Former warlord of the sea, Bartholomew Kuma has appeared on the southwest shore of Egghead. He's proceeding towards the center of the island. The authority chip isn't working on him. He just won't stop.
What nonsense? What nonsense is this? Kuma couldn't possibly be here.
And this is Jay Garcia because he don't know. And then Bonnie's just crying and she's shivering, but she's thinking to herself,
I can't. I'm too afraid.
Kuma? But how?
Stop him! Shoot if you must! Yes, sir!
Stop him! Shoot if you must!
Yes, sir!
I can't even speak.
As Kuma just starts running towards the center of the island. They're shooting at him. It's doing nothing. They're firing cannons at him. It's doing nothing. This man has turned into the Juggernaut right now.
Hey, Daddy. I think my spirit...
And it shows Kuma getting shot over and over, and he's falling over because he doesn't have much strength. But he still doesn't stop.
I think my spirit is breaking down.
Fire! Give him every shot you have!
Maybe it'll be easier if I just die. I'm sorry, Daddy.
As Sanji's screaming, Vegapunk's watching on, Kuma keeps running through the streets. And then we have Jay Garcia going,
Enough of this squalling, you obnoxious brat.
As Bonnie is screaming with every bit of strength she has. What wonderful timing. Bonnie is crying her eyes out. and she's screaming as Garcia is holding her up.
Shoot him through the head.
As all these vice admirals are aiming at Kuma, and then Kuma starts aiming with his eye, and then all of a sudden, all the vice admirals get blasted. Like 2 separate explosions take up all the vice admirals that are around Jay Garcia. And they get blown up by Kuma. I think he used like his mouth laser to blow them up. And then it shows Jay Garcia taking Bonnie, and he just slams Bonnie into the ground. Just slams her into the ground as she's going,
I'm sorry, Daddy. After all you did for me.
And then we see Jay Garcia preparing to stab Bonnie while she's on the ground crying her eyes out. But as we see one of his clawed legs come down, we see the pawed hand pop up. And Kuma scoops up Bonnie and allows Jay Garcia to stab him in the back. Kuma saves Bonnie and allows Jay Garcia to stab him in the back. And then Bonnie screams out, Daddy! And then Kuma's just standing there. It's Bartholomew Kuma! Then Kuma takes Jay Garcia's leg out from his back, spins around, hockeys up, uses armament hockey. And as Bonnie turns into her child state, this man Kuma is holding Jay Garcia and is preparing to punch one of the Godosei! And all Jay Garcia can do is just look with bewildered eyes as we're about to see the greatest punch in One Piece history since Luffy punched Charlos. And the chapter ends. 10 out of 10. This is the first chapter we get in 2024. Let's go, Kuma! Let's go, Kuma! What can I say? What can I say? That's the end of the chapter. Sorry, family brought me breakfast, and I got it off to the side. I'm going to say my piece. We start with this chapter, going back in time just a little bit, just seeing Bonnie talking to Vegapunk, and they've already reconciled. They pretty much already reconciled. Since she knows the true history, she knows that Vegapunk ain't to blame. It's Jay Garcia. Jay Garcia... First of all, what do you mean that Bonnie's powers don't come from an actual fruit, but it was an experiment to see if an infant incapable of eating solid food could be given powers with an extract? So she was given an extract of the age fruit because she was just a baby. So she's had this power since she had this power since birth, apparently. And Kuma has made a beeline for Egghead, already wrecking everybody, destroys all the vice admirals that were around Jay Garcia because he ain't got no vice admiral protection, and he saves Bonnie, allows himself to be stabbed in the back, saves Bonnie, and now is preparing to beat up on beat on one of the Godosei. This is such a good chapter. I ain't gonna spend too long on here because my food is still hot. Let me just look this chapter up. 1102, right? No, 103. 103. My goodness. Okay, so, ain't nothing here. Ain't nothing here yet. That's interesting. Ain't nobody put no notes or nothing, even though the chapter officially released today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to spend too much time with this because I got to eat breakfast and then I got to do my My Hero reaction and Jujutsu reaction. I understand why we're going on break. Oda just left us with a Gordosei about to be fought. Someone is about to fight Kuma, and it's the very ain't this poetic? The first time we see Jay Garcia interacting with Kuma, he just swats away Kuma like he's nothing during the Celestial Dragons hunting competition. Now, for the first time now it's switched around, and now Kuma's gonna be the one decking Jay Garcia. We're about to see the greatest punch in One Piece since Luffy punched Charlos. And the fact that Kuma can use armament hockey, here's the thing. Hockey can only be used if your will is strong enough. Can we just talk about that? This is a man who supposedly had all of his free will erased and memories erased just for him to be a soulless machine. He should not be able to use hockey at all because hockey is a physical manifestation of one's willpower. So for this supposedly soulless, mindless, free will-less man to be using hockey, it means that not all of Kuma's will has been completely erased. He should not be able to use hockey at all. But this man hockeys up. Anyway, and he's preparing to hit Jay Garcia. That's amazing to me. And we're going on a 2-week break because of this. We're about to see a member of the Gorosei be fought by someone. And it's the very individual they thought they could turn into their perfect weapon and thought they could erase his will and get rid of his memories and thought it was just going to be fine. Now, this very same individual, not only has this man endured so much battle and scarring and, damage when he flew straight into the red line and fought everyone there as he forcibly climbed to the top of Marijuana. Now, can I just say this? This man not only endured everything at the bottom of the red line, but he also endured everything at the top of the red line, including a short skirmish with Akainu, which involved his leg getting burned. And mind you, it appears that his leg is still fine. I thought his leg was burnt off, but he's kneeling here with Bonnie and his leg is still attached. I thought his leg was taken off by Akainu. But he's kneeling here with Bonnie. You can clearly see where his leg and foot and ankle are bending while he's kneeling down holding Bonnie. This man also endured fighting Marines all the way from the southwest coast of Egghead, all the way towards the center, blasted away every single vice admiral that was protecting and trying to shoot Bonnie. He bodied every single vice admiral there. Every single one of them. There's not a single vice admiral standing up. He bodied every single one of them, yanks out the leg of Jay Garcia that was stabbing him in the back, hockeys up his arm as Jay Garcia's all like, huh? And then it shows Bonnie crying and Kuma preparing to hit Jay Garcia with armament hockey. You can't tell me Kuma's dead. He is not dead. You cannot use hockey without a will. This man's still got his will. This man's instincts to be the benevolent greatest dad ever. Backstab page looks like a Backstab. Yeah, he just yanks it out of his back. And he's preparing to fight Jay Garcia. I don't think Jay Garcia ever thought that anyone would try and fight him. Let alone, because they're the top authority in the world. So why would anyone try and fight them? But we got Kuma, who's like rearing back, gritted teeth. He's all like, "Argh!" And I can't believe that Oda gives us the very first chapter of One Piece in 2024, and it's about to be a Gorosei fight. Yep. This is what you call a cooking chapter. Now, since we are not getting a chapter until the 21st, that marks our time of going back to Sunday chapters. Yeah. This isn't like, because I know some people asked me if we were going to be having chapters on, someone asked me if we were going to be having chapters on Fridays now, but I said this was just like a one-time deal. We're going back to Sunday chapters on the 21st. But, what a way to end this chapter, right? What a way! This chapter, and we got a long summary. Ah, okay, I see it. They're editing this page right now. They're editing the page right now. Ooh, okay. Backstab page look like Ace Backstab. You know what? You could see it that way. Kuma saving a life by allowing himself to be injured in the process, in what would normally be a fatal wound, the same way Ace saved Luffy in a similar way. Man, just the fact that he scooped up Bonnie before Jay Garcia could do anything, and he's all like, "I got you, my sweet daughter." This is the reason why Kuma's the greatest. This is the reason why Kuma's the greatest. I could just keep looking at this. But to find out that Jewelry Bonnie's powers come from an extract of the age fruit, and not her actually eating it. All because of Jay Garcia. And also, he's the reason why her mother died in the first place, because he experimented on her. And Bonnie inherited it. Like, I'm looking at the fruit, and they haven't updated it with today's chapter yet. They haven't updated it yet, but man, Jay or Roswald? Roswald, who's my favorite? Who's my favorite now? Favorite what? Favorite Celestial Dragon? I don't like none of them. I ain't got no favorites. Favorites. Jay or Roswald, who's your favorite now? None of them. If I like any of the Celestial Dragons, it would be Miasgard. And Don Quixote Homing. Those two. Just those two. Just those two. But I don't like none of them Celestial Dragons. I ain't got no favorites. I see some that I like to see injured multiple times. Like Charlos is my favorite Celestial Dragon punching bag. But I ain't got no favorites on any of that I actually like. Except for Don Quixote Homing and Don Quixote Miasgard. Which, when you think about it, there's something about the Don Quixotes that seem to be more understanding as time goes on. Save for Doflamingo, he was too indoctrinated. But, this was a good chapter. This was a really good chapter, but the fact that we're going on not a 1 week break, but a 2 week break. 2 weeks! At least I'll have the Film Red pack to keep me occupied for a nice long while next week, but man, 2 weeks! But hey, we're about to get our very first fight with an actual Celestial Dragon on purpose. Remember how Kuma said when he was looking at Luffy punch Saint Charlos and said like this was a grievous crime that has not occurred in centuries? Spectre, great chapter. Yes, it was. He said this was a this was a great crime, a great taboo that has not occurred in many centuries. And now we're having someone actually want to injure literally the highest authority in the world just underneath Im-sama. We have someone going after Jay Garcia. Now, this man has to die. Or get so grievously injured that he can't be regarded as a threat to anybody. But I would very much prefer death for Jay Garcia. This man has done far too much. Put the life of a little girl at risk just to create a weapon and then erase a man's entire memory and free will, turn him into a soulless cyborg, then also orchestrate how Ginny contracted the sapphire scales, thus passing it on to Bonnie, thus making Kuma lose the one person that could have given him a truly happy life if he just looked past his trauma. And now we have this same person who's preparing to kill the very person Kuma regarded as his daughter. The one thing that tied him to the person he cared about most, Ginny. Now we got this man who's got like a very bewildered look because he doesn't understand what's about to happen. What does extract mean? I'm not that good with English. Okay, so orange juice would be considered extract from oranges. Like when you get orange juice, it's literally just the extract of the juices within an orange. So when it says extract, it means the juices of this devil fruit, which kind of brings up a brand new way that you can say that people can gain devil fruit powers. We now have a new method for how people can get devil fruit powers. 1, eating the fruit. 2, eating the person who has eaten the fruit, in the case of Big Mom. And now we have another way. Literally drinking or injecting the juices of this fruit into another person. The fruit then becomes worthless, but at least you still get the powers. So now we have a new way for people to get devil fruit powers out of fruits outside of eating them. So that's interesting. People say One Piece is long, they're missing out. It is long if you go by the anime. It won't take people too long if they go, because with the anime, you got to deal with filler. But with the manga, it's not that long. It's not that long. I literally spent 82 days reading every volume of One Piece, but that's just me. That's just me reading one volume per day. If I read every volume of One Piece, I could get through many, many volumes in a singular day, if not all of them in one singular day. Just reading everything for myself, it won't take long for you to just go from the beginning of One Piece all the way to where it is now, because 1, it doesn't have any filler, and 2, I do this for a living, just reading stuff out loud for a living, so I tend to pace myself a lot more when it comes to these chapters. So it's not long. Oh, we talked about Saturn extracting it into medicine. I wouldn't say extracting it into medicine, extracting it to implant into an infant because Bonnie was just a test subject to him. Or making fake green blood and making seraphims. This is why we are getting the One Piece. There's so many avenues. Jay is like the evil final form of Vince Smoke Judge. Yeah, he is. Judge, while he's a scientist, he at least still has some semblance of morals to a degree. To a degree, it's not that large, but to a degree. Jay Garcia sees everything underneath the Gorosei and Im-sama and the Celestial Dragons as insects. So it doesn't matter. He has no morals he doesn't have any morals, period. Because everything he says for the betterment of the world government is not necessarily for the betterment of the people who reside under it. So now, Jay Garcia is about to get what's coming to him by the most benevolent person. This man who literally said, I'm just a pacifist. And now this pacifist is about to give him the pacifist. I can't wait to see what Kuma does to Jay Garcia. And now, whatever he does to Jay Garcia, it better stick. Because Jay Garcia has apparently shown that he can pretty much almost instantaneously regenerate. So whatever Kuma does, it better be substantial. Q, your thoughts on the new anime, The One Piece. Oh, The One Piece. The remake of Romance Dawn. My thoughts on it? I'll watch it. I'll tune into it. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, because I got to end it here, before I start my hero and jujutsu, I got to eat the breakfast my family made for me while it's still hot. And it's still hot because I put a napkin over it, so it's keeping all the hotness inside. Overall, my overall thoughts for this chapter is One Piece is back, ladies and gentlemen. It's one thing to say, like, I'm great, it's back, but now we gotta wait 2 whole weeks in order for us to get the next chapter. I'm fine with it, as long as Oda is taking care of himself, he's getting the proper rest, and he's not rushing in order to get this stuff out. I'm fine with a break, if it means that Oda is getting, like, his second win as he starts to deliver more hotness, more cooking chapters for the rest of this year. If this 2 break means that he gets to rest a little, hey, I'm fine with it. But overall, I'm good. Overall, I enjoyed this chapter. It was great. And to everyone here who tuned in, especially if you're new here, all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. Juki say OMG this thumbnail. Yeah, you can thank Ravi for that. That was a Christmas gift from him. We got some great people here. Later, peoples.